And we're back with AP as we see it. Our guest, Kirk Bohls, he had an assignment he had to take care of. We thought we were going to have him for our second segment, but we really thank Kirk Bohls from the Houston Chronicle, columnist extraordinaire, for being our guest in the first segment. But we want to continue to thank our sponsors, our delightful host here in Dallas, the Aloft Dallas Downtown. Alex Cruz and his staff do a phenomenal job. You can contact them at 214-761-0000 or visit www.aloftdallasdowntown.com. They're right in the heart of the city. They have the XYZ bar. You can mingle over cocktails and savory bites. They have a pool, heated pool. They have a workout center, which is beautiful. You're right near all the attractions downtown, the JFK Museum, American Airlines Center, Reunion Tower, and Museum District. They're a Marriott Boutique Hotel, and believe me, I've loved every minute staying there through the years, and they continue to be my favorite choice here in Dallas, Texas. And especially for the Cotton Bowl. And by the way, it's snowing here in Dallas, which is unique. The game will be indoors at the stadium, AT&T, but it's definitely unique to have the snow on the ground in Dallas for the Cotton Bowl. We'd also like to thank our other sponsors, Greer's Markets, 29 locations in Alabama, Florida, and Mississippi. They have all the coloring contests for the children. They have the weekly specials and family, friends, and football. Get ready for those games. They have the groceries to go, and that's something if you can't be there in person, you can click on groceries to go and have them delivered to your home, your office, your venue. And remember, Greer's got it. Every time I've been in the store, I always find something unique and special, so I love to be shopping there. We also want to thank Wind Creek, the 3 locations. You can be a player and participate with all the amenities they have as well in Atmore, Alabama, Montgomery, Alabama, and Wetumpka, Alabama. So that's Wind Creek, one of our sponsors as well. And then we want to thank Dr. Jason Northcutt and his staff. They do a tremendous job in Robertsdale, Alabama. You can contact them at 251-947-3636. Dr. Jason Northcutt, he has a specialty type business, and he's in single implants and bone grafting and full mouth reconstruction. He's highly trained in those disciplines to offer comfortable and long-lasting solutions to major dental problems. So come by and see Dr. Jason Northcutt at Robertsdale Dental Care, 251-947-3636. And we want to mention in our final 2 segments, segment 3 and 4, we're going to have a special guest, Yogi Roth. He's a Big Ten Network analyst extraordinaire. Yogi has a relationship. He was on the staff with Steve Sarkisian as well. So he's been studying these Big Ten teams, Ohio State and Penn State, still in the college football playoff. And, of course, he knows Steve Sarkisian quite well, and they've been friends for a long time. So he's going to have a unique perspective for us in segments 3 and 4. We want to discuss the SEC and the bowl season. They ended up 6-4 in the bowls. That's not counting the college football playoffs with Texas and Georgia. We know that Georgia was beaten by double digits in Notre Dame in the Sugar Bowl, and Texas survived Arizona State in the Peach Bowl, and they also beat Clemson at home in that first game. So Texas is the lone surviving SEC team in the college football playoff. And they have a strong team. They're back in the state of Texas. Their fans are thrilled, I'm sure. So it should be an excellent crowd for them at the 89th edition of the College of Cotton Bowl, matter of fact. But the SEC was 6-4 in their bowls. Alabama lost. Vanderbilt won over Georgia Tech. Arkansas beat Texas Tech. LSU beat Baylor. South Carolina lost to Illinois. Tennessee, as we know, was in the playoffs, so they lost at Ohio State by 25 points. Missouri won their bowl game. Trying to remember everybody. It was Florida won their bowl game as well. Ole Miss won their bowl game against Duke in the Gator Bowl. And Texas A&M lost in the Las Vegas Bowl to USC. So the SEC had mixed results with a 6-4 bowl record, but they still have the one surviving team in the college football playoff. We'd like to just make mention of the scheduling of the transfer portal in December. You have the NIL situation, but how these coaches can manage all these responsibilities, signing their high school players, hosting the transfer portal potential players, trying to come up with game plans to win bowl games, game plans to win college football playoffs. This is all in the month of December. I think the powers to be need to act swiftly and with diligence and have some forethought as to how they can change this schedule to help these coaches and their coaching staffs, because they don't have, there's no time in the month of December. They're so busy. Now, I know that what's been implemented across the country, teams are hiring general managers because this really is professional football now. They just don't have the negotiated contracts. They're not employees, but it is a form. You're paying players, you're enticing them with money and with these NIL deals. And I don't know if that's going to change, but they probably need to have more transparency because the agents, the representatives now, they're approaching the staffs, the head coaches, and stating we want X amount of dollars for our player. In all these teams, the one who manages the rules the best and applies them to their program are going to be successful. The time to complain is not in December. The time to complain is when these rules are being formulated and the legislation is being passed. I don't know what takes these head coaches so long to voice their opinions, because they're the ones affected the most. But it seems like they're playing catch up. And for instance, in the college football playoff, there was discussion about seeding the teams 1 through 12 and not having the byes. But I think there was some reasons for allowing the byes, but for some reason the coaches, they're voicing their dissent with not seeding the teams 1 through 12. I believe they should seed the teams 1 through 12, maybe have a couple more games on campus. I think that helps the fans because there's no way that an average family can attend 4 or 5 extra games. They have to pick and choose now, and I just think people really have enjoyed the home games in the playoffs, so maybe they'll have a couple more and incorporate the bowls as well, because you want to keep your bowl partners happy as well, and that's been a long-standing tradition. I would hate to see those disappear. I think it's important to have those types of relationships and figure out a way to be in, so they can be in the equation of the college football playoffs. The 12 teams, I was not in favor. They used to have 2, then it multiplied to 4. Now it's at 12. But I think it's been exciting because it extended the season for more teams to be involved in cheering for their team to reach the college football playoffs. And you had the great stories for me had to be Indiana, never winning 10 games. They won 11 to get into the playoffs from the Big Ten. And I don't think there's anybody that was forecasting the Hoosiers to be in the first college football playoff ever, and then they ended up playing home state Notre Dame. That was fantastic for their program. Then you had a team like Arizona State picked last in their conference, ended up winning the conference, and when does that ever happen? The team that is picked last, I don't even know how many times that's happened in a Power 5 conference. Somebody's picked last, and they ended up in the college football playoff, the very first one ever. I mean, that's history for that school. That can never be duplicated. Arizona State, salute to them, salute to Indiana. And then you had the resurgence of Notre Dame. They're in the thick of the playoffs. They'll be competing against Penn State in the Orange Bowl. 2 similar teams, I think. I don't know, maybe Notre Dame has the edge with Riley Leonard at the quarterback position. Penn State, excellent quarterback as well. 2 good running backs on that side. Similar teams. They both play excellent defense. They like to drive the field. They do have some home run threats, but normally they're driving the field and taking time off the clock. But there's a possibility you could see a Big Ten college football playoff championship game, all Big Ten. That would be something for the conference that always discusses being one of the top 2, along with the SEC. But that would be quite a coup if the Big Ten, both of those teams, won. I don't know if that's going to happen, but it's something to keep an eye on. And the game will be played in Atlanta, indoors, of course, following this week's games at the Cotton Bowl and the Orange Bowl. But it's been a tremendous year in college football. The SEC, the talent has been evened out to some degree with the transfer rule, and these coaches now, they're having to earn their money. they just can't roll out the football and say, "Let's go get them, boys." Now it's very intricate and difficult every week to win games even at home, as we saw Ole Miss lose to Kentucky, who had one win during the season versus a Power Four team. But it's made for competitive football, and it's reaching that level of parity that you see in the NFL. So now we're going to find rosters changing every year, quarterbacks moving, even though they have a good year at a school. You've seen some of them transfer, played very well at their prior school, but they want to transfer, and they're lured by the additional NIL money. But anyhow, we're going to come back in the next segment 3 and 4 with our special guest, Yogi Roth, the Big Ten Network analyst extraordinaire. And we'll be right back after these messages with AP as we see it.